Book review: When the Earth Was Green, Plants, Animals, and Evolution's Greatest Romance by Riley Black. Plot summary. When the Earth Was Green, Plants, Animals, and Evolution's Greatest Romance by Riley Black is a compelling narrative nonfiction book that profoundly reframes the story of life on Earth, placing plants at the very center of the grand evolutionary saga. USA Today bestseller and winner of the A Friend of Darwin Award in 2020. The book argues that without the ceaseless evolutionary innovation of plants, the animal kingdom, from dinosaurs to saber-toothed cats and even humanity, simply would not exist. Black opens the book by emphasizing how fossil plants offer tangible link to billions of years of Earth's past. These petrified leaves and roots, often overlooked, are presented as vital records of world shaped by botanical ingenuity. The core thesis is that plants were merely static backdrop for animal evolution, but active architects of our planet, responsible for oxygenating the atmosphere, paving the way for life to colonize land, and ultimately forming the diverse ecosystems that fueled the diversification of animals, including the forests that influenced our own ancestral anatomy. Drawing on the acclaimed narrative style from The Last Days of the Dinosaurs, Black takes readers on a sweeping chronological journey through prehistoric seas, swamps, forests, and savannas. Each chapter is a vignette focusing on a specific pivotal moment in plant evolution, but critically, it also highlights the intricate and often surprising interactions between plants and animals that define these eras. This approach underscores the evolutionary romance, dynamic interplay of codependence, competition, and adaptation that has constantly reshaped the living world. The book begins deep in Earth's history around 1.2 billion years ago with the emergence of early photosynthesizers like red algae. Black details how these seemingly simple organisms, capable of generating their own food and notably engaging in sexual reproduction, were the foundational ancestors of the first plants that crept onto land, kickstarting the monumental process of oxygenating Earth's atmosphere. This initial atmospheric transformation was prerequisite for the more complex animal life that would later evolve. Black challenges the anthropocentric bias often found in natural history, asserting that it was the plants, not fleshy-finned fish, that changed the world when they came ashore. As the narrative progresses through geological time, Black highlights key evolutionary breakthroughs and the cascading effects they had. The rise of vast forests, for instance, is shown to have dramatically altered global climate and provided the raw material for the enormous size of many herbivorous dinosaurs, such as the Apatosaurus. Black vividly describes these colossal creatures lumbering through lush cycad and fern forests, their immense digestive systems acting as enormous fermentation vats to process the abundant plant matter. The book even humorously delves into the methane-rich flatulence of these sauropods, illustrating how their very existence, facilitated by plants, contributed to planetary warming. Later chapters explore the emergence of flowering plants, angiosperms, and their profound impact on insects, birds, and mammals, describing the intricate relationships that develop, such as early bird swallow seeds whole and aiding plant dispersal. Black also delves into more unexpected romances like the evolution of chemicals in plants as defenses against insects, which inadvertently led to phenomena like catnip's intoxicating effect on saber-toothed cats. Whimsical yet scientifically grounded anecdote. Throughout the book, Black masterfully blends rigorous scientific fact with evocative prose, breathing life into ancient landscapes and extinct organisms. The vignettes are supported by appendices that clarify what is based on fossil evidence, what is extrapolated, and where the author employs well-informed artistic license to paint a more complete picture. This transparency enhances the reader's trust in the narrative while allowing for a more engaging immersive experience. When the Earth Was Green is not just a history lesson, it's a call to reevaluate our perspective on the natural world. It stresses that we did not arrive here on our own, but as part of an ongoing relationship with the botanical. By illuminating the often overlooked agency and profound influence of plants, Riley Black offers a fresh, vital, and beautifully composed understanding of life's intricate web, from ancient roots to our and future. It's an essential, extraordinary story that celebrates the splendid and tangled scrum of interactions and transactions that define our living planet. Book review: Riley Black's When the Earth Was Green, Plants, Animals, and Evolution's Greatest Romance is groundbreaking work of narrative nonfiction that challenges and profoundly reshapes our understanding of life's intricate journey on Earth. USA Today bestseller and the distinguished recipient of the 2024 Friend of Dart Award, this book does far more than recount facts. It builds a compelling case for the indispensable, often overlooked role of plant life in shaping every facet of our planet's biological history. Black firmly establishes herself as master of popular science writing, possessing rare ability to transform complex paleobotanical and evolutionary concepts. Vivid, accessible, and deeply moving saga of coevolution, the central audacious thesis of When the Earth Was Green is deceptively simple. Without the ceaseless evolutionary innovations and the sheer persistent growth of plants, the animal kingdom as we know it, from the most fearsome dinosaurs to the swift saber-toothed cats and indeed humanity itself, would simply not exist. Black argues with elegant conviction that our traditional, often anthropos, narrative of life on Earth has mistakenly relegated plants to passive, static background. Instead, she reveals them as the primary architects of our world, the silent engineers who, over billions of years, oxygenated our hostile atmosphere, prepared barren lands for colonization, and forged the diverse ecosystems that fueled the astonishing diversification of animal life. This is not merely a history of plants, but a history through plants, demonstrating their active agency in sculpting our planet. Black's narrative prowess, Honan, are critically acclaimed. The last days of the dinosaurs is the engine that drives this ambitious undertaking. She rejects the dry, chronological textbook approach, opting instead for a series of meticulously researched yet poetically rendered vignettes. Each chapter is a standalone journey into distinct prehistoric environment, be it primordial seas, ancient swamps, towering forests, or vast savannas. At pivotal moment in plant evolution, crucially, each vignette also spotlights the intricate, often surprising, and always profound interactions between species. This isn't mere parallel history of plants and animals. It's an exploration of their evolutionary romance, a dynamic interplay of codependence, mutual adaptation, and occasional brutal competition that has continually reshaped the living world. As the chapters progress, moving inexorably upwards in time, Black guides readers along the burgeoning trunk of the tree of life, pausing to appreciate the myriad branches of an evolutionary story that links the world we know with one we can only just perceive now through the silent stone, from ancient roots to the present. The book's journey into deep time begins approximately 1.2 billion years ago with the seemingly humble emergence of photosynthesizing organisms, particularly red algae. Black vividly describes these microscopic pioneers, emphasizing that their capacity to harness sunlight and, crucially, to reproduce sexually represented a colossal leap forward. This early biological innovation was not just about basic survival. It initiated the slow, arduous process of oxygenating Earth's atmosphere, transforming largely an oxic planet into one capable of more complex, multicellular life. Black eloquently argues that this fundamental atmospheric shift driven by these foundational plant forms was the ultimate prerequisite for the explosive diversification of animal life that would follow. She challenges the ingrained notion that animals are the primary drivers of evolutionary change, asserting with conviction that it was the plants, not fleshy-finned fish, that changed the world when they came ashore. The narrative then transports us to the Silurian and Devonian periods around 425 million years ago, chronicling the momentous event of plants creeping onto land. Black paints a compelling picture of a barren, rock-strewn terrestrial environment gradually colonized and transformed by pioneering mosses, liverworts, and early vascular plants. These seemingly simple life forms were the true trailblazers, breaking down rockcrete, the first rudimentary soils, and establishing terrestrial ecosystems, thereby setting the stage for animals to eventually make their own perilous migration from water to land. This detailed exploration underscores that the physical landscape, the very air we breathe, and the foundational elements of terrestrial life were all meticulously constructed by botanical ingenuity over eons. The Carboniferous period, some 307 million years ago, ushers in the era of the forest primeval. Black describes colossal lycopod, horsetail, and fern forests that dominated vast swaths of the supercontinent Pangaea. She doesn't just present these as static backdrops, but as dynamic, living entities with profound global impacts. The immense scale of these ancient woodlands, coupled with their prodigious photosynthetic output and subsequent burial and compression, led to unprecedented levels of atmosphere oxygen. This hyperoxygenated world, in turn, facilitated the evolution of giant arthropods, dragonflies with wingspans of over 2 feet, massive millipedes, and set the conditions for the diversification of early tetrapods. Black's vivid descriptions allow the reader to feel the humid, verdant intensity of these lost worlds, emphasizing how these ancient botanical powerhouses inadvertently laid the foundation for the massive coal deposits that fueled human civilization millennia later. Moving into the Mesozoic era, often romantically and anthropocentrically dubbed the Age of Dinosaurs, Black skillfully integrates the familiar megafauna into her plant-centric narrative. The enormous sauropods of the Jurassic, for example, are presented not merely as impressive giants, but as living extensions of the abundant plant life that sustain them. Black humorously yet scientifically describes these colossal herbivores as enormous fermentation vats, their gargantuan size a direct consequence of the nutritional bounty provided by lush cycad and fern forests. For imaginative reconstructions, such as pondering the sheer volume of methane these sauropods might have emitted and its ancient climatic implications, are both entertaining and deeply insightful, highlighting the holistic interconnectedness of ecosystems. A particularly captivating section of the book, highlighted in reviews, delves into the In Bloom chapter, focusing on the revolutionary emergence of flowering plants or angiosperms around 125 million years ago. This botanical breakthrough, characterized by enclosed seeds and the dazzling array of flowers, triggered an unprecedented burst of coevolutionary relationships. Black meticulously details the intricate dance that unfolded between these new plants and their animal partners. Insects, birds, and later mammals, the vibrant colors, alluring scents, and sweet nectars. Flowers are revealed not as mere aesthetic flourishes, but as potent evolutionary tools designed to attract pollinators and facilitate highly efficient seed dispersal. Black vividly describes early birds, for instance, not just as airborne creatures, but as crucial agents of botanical expansion, feasting on nascent fruits, and inadvertently scattering seeds far and wide, thereby integrating animal behavior directly into plant reproductive success. Frequently emphasizes the role of chance and fortuitous burials in evolution, underscoring that many of these intricate relationships arose not from a grand design, but from serendipitous interactions and environmental pressures. Black's strength lies in her dual ability to maintain rigorous scientific accuracy while employing a highly evocative, almost poetic prose style. She avoids jargon where possible, and when complex biological concepts are introduced, she renders them accessible through relatable analogies and compelling mini-narratives. For example, her discussion of the chemical defenses plants developed against insects becomes a memorable anecdote involving catnip and surprising intoxicating effect on saber-toothed cats. Whimsical yet scientifically grounded illustration of how plants' defense mechanism can accidentally become source of pleasure for another species. These sticky situations, as she aptly titles one chapter, highlight the unforeseen consequences and circuitous pathways of evolutionary development. Furthermore, Black's commitment to transparency enhances the reader's trust and understanding. She includes appendices that explicitly clarify which elements of her vivid historical recreations are directly supported by fossil evidence, which are informed extrapolations based on broader scientific consensus, and where well-informed artistic license is employed to bring these ancient worlds to life. This intellectual honesty combined with her narrative flair makes the book both an educational resource and a thoroughly enjoyable read. When the Earth Was Green is more than just a historical account, it's a profound invitation to reevaluate it. Placed within the natural world, it serves as a passionate love letter to the planet's botanical heritage, urging readers to recognize the often silent, persistent, and foundational work of plants. In an era increasingly dominated by discussions of climate change and biodiversity loss, Black's book is a timely and vital argument for acknowledging the inherent value and indispensable role of plant life, not merely for the survival of other species, for the very habitability and beauty of Earth itself. Her conclusion, which subtly weaves in themes of identity and diversity in nature, offers a deeply moving and hopeful message about the interconnectedness of all life. While some readers might find the narrative's occasional meandering through time or its focus on animal examples to be a slight departure from a strictly plant-centric perspective, these moments ultimately serve Black's overarching thesis of profound biological interdependence. The book is not just about plants, but about the interconnectedness between plant and animal life, demonstrating that one cannot exist, let alone thrive, without the other. A nuanced approach enriches the narrative rather than detracting from it. Black's infectious enthusiasm and consistently vibrant prose, sometimes flowery in its descriptions, are perfectly suited to the subject matter, creating an immersive and intellectually stimulating experience. In conclusion, When the Earth Was Green, Plants, Animals, and Evolution's Greatest Romance is a magnificent achievement in popular science writing. It is a book that educates, entertains, and profoundly shifts one's perspective, revealing the extraordinary, splendid, and tangled scrum of interactions and transactions that define life on Earth. Riley Black has once again proven her singular ability to craft top-drawer science writing that possesses the immersive quality of fantasy novel while remaining rigorously grounded in hard facts and the latest fossil discoveries. This book is not merely chronicle of the past. It is testament to the enduring romance that continues to shape our present and will undoubtedly dictate our future. It is must read for anyone seeking deeper, more holistic appreciation of life's epic journey.